Well, hello there. That battery can last up to 24 hours even with the always-on display turned on. It's pretty cool.
People don't learn from handbooks. They learn from feedback in the flow of work. Now, that's not just a quote on a slide. That is a hard-earned lesson. After a decade in EdTech and the last 3 years deep in AI implementation, I saw this play out in the real world. I can pinpoint the exact moment I knew our scaling strategy was broken. We went from a core team of 3 to 50. We were managing over $1 billion in assets. And as we grew, something dangerous started happening. The very quality of our service began to dilute.
So, today I want to walk you through that journey, from crisis to a completely new way of operating. First, we're going to dissect what I called the scaling crisis. Then, we'll talk about the paradigm shift required to solve it. We'll see the mentor in action to show you how this actually works. Then we'll cover scaling with integrity in some very complex markets. And finally, we'll get to the end goal, moving your entire operation from being reactive to becoming truly predictive.
All right, let's dive right into the scaling crisis. This is that moment, that exact point where your growth starts to outpace your control. 50. That was the number for us. You see, when we were a team of 3, we were obsessed. We were in sync. We controlled every single detail of the client experience. But scaling to 50 people, well, that introduced a completely new and, frankly, a much more dangerous reality.
And this is where the problem really hits. With 20 agents handling over 1,000 calls a week, you're not managing a team anymore. You're managing a black box. Let's be honest, shadowing calls is a luxury no manager has time for. You have zero visibility into whether your agents are actually building relationships or just trying to clear their queue. You've effectively lost control over the very thing you built your brand on.
And what's going on inside that black box? A full 80% of the inquiries are the same repetitive, soul-crushing, routine questions. What's the Wi-Fi password? Is parking included? How do I get my digital keys? When your best people are bogged down by this, their service smile just fades. They start rushing. They miss those subtle cues, the important ones, from that high-net-worth investor calling from New York at 2 in the morning.
And that's when you realize the real danger. Your service DNA becomes fragile. Now, your service DNA is that unique, consistent feeling a client gets from your brand. Without a constant feedback loop, that entire identity becomes dependent on a few star employees. And if they leave, your institutional knowledge, your brand itself, walks right out the door with them.
This is where the paradigm shift has to happen. We have to completely reframe the role of technology. It's not about surveillance, it's about empowerment.
Look, let's just get this out of the way. Deploying AI call coaching is not about installing some kind of digital big brother. It's about introducing a silent mentor, a tool that empowers your agents to perform at a higher level, not one that just monitors their every move. We call that standard SuperHuman Hospitality. And the vision is simple. You use technology to handle all the routine work, freeing up your human agents to provide the soul, the empathy, the complex problem solving, the things that actually define a luxury experience. Suddenly, every single call becomes a learning asset.
So what does this silent mentor actually look like in action? How do you turn every phone call into a tangible asset for growth? It all happens in 2 key phases. Phase 1 is invisible integration. The single biggest mistake you can make is forcing your agents to open another tab. It has to live invisibly inside your existing CRM, your customer relationship management system. For us, that's the Rentra AI admin dashboard. Then comes phase 2, the empathy factor. This is where the AI provides real-time coaching that turns simple transactions into lasting relationships.
The real magic happens after the call is over. A transcript is just text. The value is in the predictive insight. Instantly, a manager can open the CRM and see these automated markers. Sentiment analysis: was the client frustrated or were they delighted? Knowledge gaps: did the agent forget to mention a new STR or short-term rental regulations? Objection handling: how did they respond when the client mentioned a competitor's lower fee? Your agent doesn't feel monitored. They feel supported with feedback they can actually use.
Here's a perfect example of that real-time coaching. Picture this. It's a normal Tuesday. An agent is exhausted. A client calls in. They sound stressed. They can't find the property. Under pressure, a human agent might sound a little short, but an agent with a silent mentor gets a gentle nudge right on their screen. Client sounds anxious. Offer a proactive 5-minute late checkout to ease their arrival. The AI isn't grading the call. It's helping the agent win right in that moment.
We actually have a name for this internally. We call it the Piazza Standard. Imagine an agent is qualifying a lead for a luxury villa.
The AI hears the client mention they're visiting for an anniversary. It instantly flags a personalized recommendation. You missed an opportunity. The client loves Italian food. Mention we can book a prime table for them at La Piazza nearby. See? That's what turns a transaction into a real relationship.
And these results, they're not theoretical. We've seen teams jump from a 5% lead conversion rate to a 14% within just 60 days of implementation. When your agents see the AI is helping them close more deals and get better reviews, any resistance they had just vanishes. It becomes the partner.
Now let's talk about scaling with integrity. Because as you grow, especially in international hubs like Dubai, the compliance stakes are just exponential.
Here is a simple, powerful truth. A human ISA, an inside sales agent, might forget to mention a call is being recorded. They might misquote a complex DTCM Dubai Department of Tourism and Commerce Marketing licensing rule. An AI sales copilot never forgets. It ensures 100% consistency every single time.
And this is built on 3 pillars. First, data residency, which means ensuring sensitive guest data always stays within the required legal jurisdictions. Second, multilingual sovereignty. In a global market, your coaching has to work in over 40 languages. And third, proactive churn prediction. In the LTR or long-term rental space, the AI listens for tenant unhappiness, maybe a delayed SLA violation on a repair, and it flags it before they decide not to renew.
So all of this, every piece we've talked about, it's all driving toward one ultimate goal, evolving your business from a reactive state to a predictive one. It's about protecting the very soul of your service.
And I need to be crystal clear about this. The goal of AI call coaching is not to replace the human smile. It is to protect it. By automating that 80% of routine work, you create capacity. You give your agents the space to be truly present. You give them the game film they need to master their craft. You stop being a reactive business that just responds to problems, and you become a proactive brand that anticipates needs.
And so that leaves you with one final question to ask yourself as a leader. Are you just buying another piece of software, or are you investing in a brand protection strategy? This is about ensuring that the feeling a client walks away with of being seen, understood, and truly cared for remains the heart of your business, even as you scale to $1 billion and beyond.
The intelligence may be artificial, but the growth it enables for your team is profoundly human.